Hello and welcome. Coming to you live from Santa Cruz, California. This is W Body and Soul with our host today, Stephen Macramala. Welcome to our 30-day Unleash the Dragon Challenge. Day 24, Earth Dragon. All right, let's just make sure that everything's working fine, light and sound. How you doing, everybody? Hope you're having a lovely shelter-in-place day today. And just wait around a little bit longer, make sure everything's working okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's get started. Okay. So today is Earth Dragon. We're gonna get into the boa. We're gonna do tiger. Hello. I see some people are showing up there. Nice to see you. Hello, Paula. All right. Cool. So we're going to get into Earth Dragon today. We'll get warmed up with a little bit of boa and do a little bit of tiger and do some new kinds of movements that can help you get into the animals. And we'll talk a little bit about the theory and a little bit about the myth and how you can use Earth Dragon today while you're sheltering in place. I think I'm going to lighten up the theory and the talk a little bit. I don't want to I thought yesterday was a little bit talk heavy, so I want to keep it a bit lighter, a bit more fun, a bit more movement and movement oriented. So let's get into it. Let's start off with shake, rattle, and roll, and then we'll take it into the boa and some movements. So shaking your foot. And normally, we focus on Python when we do this part because we're focusing on the skeletal system, but let's focus on tiger and boa for this one. So feeling the muscles, the skin and the breath, like you're shaking, you're sending breath into every corner of your foot, your ankle, and now into the shin bone. You're shaking the calf muscles, you're shaking the muscles all around the shin bones, up into the knee. That's it. Feel the skin. And now you're shaking the meat off of your thigh bone. Shake the quads, the hamstring. Get the tiger muscles nice and warmer, a little bit more alivened. There you go. Feel the breath going to every little nook and cranny of your right leg. Good. That's it. And a little bit up in the hip now. Good. And then other foot. Feel the breath going into your foot. Up into the shin bone. Good stuff. Good. Excellent. Up into your hip, your thigh. Shake the meat right off your thigh bone. And a little bit of chubby checkers. Good. And then bouncing the knees, letting the vibration from your knees travel all the way up through your body. Relaxing. Breathing in deep, exhaling, feel your circulation, feel your breath, feel your body. Is there any, as you scan your body from toe to head, is there a part of your body that feels a little bit more dense that you're not quite aware of? And can you send your breath in there? Can you use the vibration to loosen up that area so that you can feel more breath going into that area? So this is a practice that's common in a lot of different martial arts. It's the same kind of visualization, same kind of practice. Can you feel your breath go into different areas? Even though you don't have lungs there, can you feel energy? Can you feel breath going into that area of your body? Good, and then both knees together. And letting again that trot-like rhythm send a ripple of energy through your body and loosens up any kind of stuck energy. Good. And let's do the flicking exercise and sending a wave of breath and of energy by energy, I mean the physical force, the physical impact rippling through your body. So letting the breath ripple through your body and letting the motion ripple through your body. And ready? And. A little bit faster now. And stand. Feel what your body feels like. It's very simple, but very invigorating. And sometimes, you spend a little bit of quality time with these exercises where you ask yourself questions and you solicit responses from your body. Like, what part of my back is most engaged in the ripple? What part of my back is the least engaged in the ripple? And you try to even out the participation of your back. Maybe it's your feet. Maybe you don't feel your feet or your legs or your hamstrings or your quads. So you try to get those parts of your body a little bit more able to transfer power through them. So, so you have to spend that quality time with the exercise, asking yourself those questions. And you can do it, of course, for these exercises that I'm showing you. But that process is of personal inquiry. Is the heart really of any practice. Whether you're doing yoga or dance or martial arts, whether you're doing Systema or Bagua or Aikido or Kung Fu, that time that you take in your own slow personal exploration is what turns your practice into your art. So go for it, have fun with it. Okay, so let's do the arm swing and dropping down. Rise up. And backwards. So, sorry, that was forward, not just rising up, but forward. And now we're doing backwards, letting your body move with your arm. And other arm. Good. And there's a lot. Oh, goodness, there's so much. So let's reverse it. And there we go. Now, both arms in opposite direction. Good, and reverse direction. Good, excellent, and stand, relax. Okay. And feel what your body feels like. Let's do the boa bow a few times, and we'll do the tiger bow. And the plan is to do the effleurage that we did with boa. To get into that. And I also then want to talk about breath, sending waves of breath through the earth through the body. Let me try and say that again in English. So what I want to talk about is how when the boa moves, the way that it's moving is that it connects to the earth as though the earth is breathing, and the earth is sending a wave of breath through the body. And that is what is moving the boa's body. So we're going to be focusing on that today. So let's get into the boa bow. And so feet together, check in with your sense of unconscious, your sense of empathy. Feel like your sense of empathy is reaching out like a memory foam of intelligent feeling out into the room, and any kind of intelligence leaves its footprint in your memory foam of empathy. And it's soft, it's embracing, it is gentle. Now, empathy in and of itself, when you talk to psychologists, is not really about love. But in the martial art tradition, there is a compassionate tenderness to it. It's love in the sense of recognizing the sentience of others. So you want to have that quality. You let that quality soften yourself, soften you. You let that quality soften the things around you. Yesterday, when we were doing the Sub-Earth Dragon Yoga, and as we've been doing the cocoon and the spiral, we've been talking about that inner smile kind of quality in meditation. You know, like you feel the cocoon around you, and you feel as though there's like just a really happy guy smiling at you from all around and validating your experience, and you're smiling back. So when it smiles at you from one angle, like it smiles, let's say, at your heart smiles back. When it smiles at your stomach smiles back. There's that reciprocity of the inner smile, and you feel like that's what's surrounding you in the cocoon. And you do that with your empathy as well. So you're sending out an empathic wave of smile and recognition and soft connection. And through that, you also feel, sorry, kind of talking myself into a corner here, but you send out that wave of softness. Now, things that come back in return aren't always soft, but what Boa is good at is it eats the experience and lets go what it doesn't need. So that's the archetype of the Boa. For some people, it can be a little bit precarious to just try and reach out and feel things. Use your discernment, use your discretion. What Boa is really good at, and why it's a useful archetype, is that the Boa, as it matures, chooses things that feed it. So it's not like indiscriminate. It doesn't just emotionally and empathetically bond with everything. Because it will get hurt that way. But after a while, it develops a sense of what is good food for it, and it only chooses the things that are good for it. Okay, so I want to make sure I mention that. Okay, so we have, we're going to do the Boa bow, and exhale. And as you inhale, you brush up on the inside of the cocoon, feeling that inner smile energy radiating, shining on you. And hold the breath. Connect to your sense of empathy. There is a soft, compassion, heart-like quality to it. Exhale. Come back up. Drop back down. Inhale. Breathe in deep, open, embrace. You're connected to everything through your empathy. You're keeping everything soft. And then you bring it in, you take in everything, and you let go what you don't need or doesn't serve you. Breathe in deep. And bring in the energy and let it go. Good. One last time. And drop down. And bring it in. And stand, feel the boa. Hold the big beach ball of breath. Soften in the shoulders. Feel like each one of your joints is being supported by a hot air balloon or a helium balloon. Good. And release. Okay, so let's do a little bit of the effleurage exercise. So we'll do it you're starting down here, you come up, I hope you can see me, yeah, there we go. So you're coming down and you're placing your hands on the inside yin skin of the body, and you're brushing up the inside skin, come up to your face. It's like you're splashing water over your face and your head. You come down the neck, go to the armpits, give it a little squeeze, rub the inside skin of the arms. Your hands come together. You turn them around so that they can stroke the outside skin of the arms. As you slide down from the wrists to the elbows, your hands are going to want to move over your head. And then you keep rubbing down the triceps. You come to your shoulder blades, rub across the neck. You come to your your shoulders. You come to your neck. And then it's like you're giving yourself a little shampoo. Whoops, Daisy, sorry. You're giving yourself a little shampoo up on the head and then down the neck. You come underneath. You come to the space between the shoulder blades. You cross the hands. You come down, uncross at the lower back. And then it's like you're taking off pants. You go all the way down the outside of the legs. Let's try that again. And come on up, the inside of the skin, the yin skin. Down the ears, to your throat, to your armpits, up the yin skin of your arms. You get to your hands, the palms are facing each other, and then I don't know how you call this, but you pivot your hands around, and you reach for the yang skin, the harder, hairier skin of your arms. As you get to your elbows, your hands go over your head, you get to your triceps, you get to your shoulders, you come to your neck. It's just like you're putting on cologne or aftershave or perfume. A guy would do it this way. He'd do it, like that kind of thing. And then bring it up to your head, give yourself a shampoo, and come to the armpits, unclip the bra, come down to your lower back, unclip at your lower back, and then like you're pulling down your pants. There we go. One more time, up. Yeah. Over the ears, into the armpits, the inside of the arms, the outside of the arms, over your head, to your neck. Give yourself a little shampoo, unclip the bra, unclip at your lower back or uncross at the lower back, and then down the legs. There we go. So that's a little bit of effleurage. And now feel what your body feels like. You should feel more sensory awareness in your skin. You should feel more centered all the way around you. Cool. And now let's do a little bit of an effleurage exercise. And actually, let me just check the scroll real quick. Hello, Paula, nice to see you. And hello, Malachi, sorry. You really need to tell me how to pronounce your name properly so I don't butcher it. Okay, great. And, technical difficulties, sorry to hear that. Is everything working all right? Okay. Well, let me know if it's on my side. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to do a little bit more of effleurage. There is a more advanced version of what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a more beginner version so it's more accessible. So normally, like in Kung Fu, there's this kind of like move where you go down really low, right? And we're not going to go as low, but I do want to get this integrated into the legs a little bit more. And what I want to do is it's a sliding kind of exercise where as one hand is coming up, and it always comes up on the inside. The other hand is going down, and it always goes down on the outside. And normally we go all the way down to like the heel and then back up to the groin. We're going to do an easier version where you just go down to the knee. Okay? And so this is what it looks like when it's just done naturally. And you notice my body is turning with the action, right? So I'm turning towards the hand that's coming up to the groin, and my body is, my body's turning away, but it makes it easier for my arm to slide down. So it drops down. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Let's do it together. I'll take you through it. Place your hand on the inside of your knee and bring it up to the groin. And let it come around the hip and down to the knee and then around, and let your body just naturally follow. Okay? And what we're going to try and do with this, so you're going to let your body, the motion of your body, be a part of the action. And you want it to be as natural as you can make it. And you want to keep as much as you can on your axis, so you don't want to break in your torso. So if you need to tilt, don't tilt like a question mark, tilt like an arrow, so that wherever so what happens is that you're moving from your pelvis and your spine is always straight and is just an expression of where your pelvis is pointing, okay? As you're doing that, so you're doing this, and so you're moving from your whole pelvis. You're also, so this is going to look a little bit stiff. Now, what you do is you also let your shoulder, maybe let's move up from the pelvis first. So you're moving from your pelvis. Now you have your belly button. So let's go up joint by joint. Now you have your belly button. Now your belly button can spiral a little bit from side to side. So here my hips are fixed, and here my belly button is turning from side to side. A little bit, right? Okay? And then on top of that, I have my sternum. And my sternum as well can twist a little bit more than my belly button, right? So here are my hips. So my hips can move, and where my pelvis moves, my whole body can move, can point like a compass needle. Then on top of the hips, I have the belly button, and I can keep my hips still, and my belly button can turn, right? And then on top of that, I have my sternum, so I can keep my belly button still, and I can turn my torso, okay? And you have those stages, and then you have your collarbones. You have those stages, so your collarbones can also move further, and then of course your head. So you have each of those stations, those floors of mobility, and they too will move, will spiral as you do the caressing action. So as my hand goes down the outside of my leg and up the inside of my leg, my body is going to turn, is going to be doing this. But it's not going to do it like a sausage, it's going to do it like a tornado. Okay? That's the idea. So although all I'm doing with my hand is this, what I want my body to do is to participate in an integrated tornado-like action. So it looks simple, and it is, if you're Isaac Newton. All right, so, and up, and down, and up, good. Now, so those are the pillars. And so you have your pelvis, your belly button, your sternum, you have your collarbones, you have your neck, and your head, and now the shoulder. So there's this rolling in the shoulder, okay? And so when you're reaching down, you're not just like a child reaching for a cookie. You're dropping your shoulder down. You're letting your shoulder blades slide down and away from your spine as much as possible. And then when you bring your arm up, you're sliding it back up. Now, you don't get it too high and get it too tense, but it drops down and it sort of comes back to neutral and an elevated neutral. So basically you're drawing a circle. So if you do this with your shoulder, I'm just drawing a circle, and if I just draw that circle with my hand going down, like my hand connected to the leg, it's going to mostly do a lot of that caressing for me, right? And then what I do is I connect my body, and now all of a sudden that contact is easier to maintain. And that's why you can get all the way down to your ankle, because you have all of that motion of your spine to give you rope, to give you slack. But right now we're just going to go to the knee. So down and up. So it's a really simple exercise, but you're getting all of this spinal multi-joint mobility going. And it's all spirals, which the BOA loves. If you feel like you're a lyrical dancer, you're doing it right. Okay? Now, we've got it on one arm. Now we do it with both arms. So here we go. Boom, boom. So you get that rotation in both shoulders. And you let your spine, whoops daisy, it's hard to do this while talking. There we go, that's it, there we go. I think I may have given the wrong, maybe I got the instructions mixed up, but you're turning towards the side that you're caressing up, okay? And then you go down. Ah, there we go. It's hard to do and talk. You have to, there we go. All right? So there's that effleurage. There we go. Okay, excellent. All right. And the reason why I wanted to cover that is for a lot of people, there's not very much proprioceptive awareness in and around the inner groin and the hips, and tends to be a lot of frozen mobility between the waist, the hips, and the waist. And so it's just a really good exercise to get all that going. Okay. So let's talk about the BOA and how the BOA breathes, and more accurately, how the BOA allows itself to be breathed by the earth. I just have to laugh also because on the way down here, I just got like in the car, turned on the radio, and there was this interview on NPR, and yeah, I love NPR. And they were interviewing a journalist, last name is Nestor, like the wise man in the Iliad, and he'd written a book called Breath, and it was the new science of a lost art. And I only heard a small portion of the interview, but in it, it's all the kind of principle. Well, in that small interview, there was the principle of the rhythm in the breath and of a particular count. It's a 5-beat count for your in-breath and your out-breath, and that's the ideal pace for maintaining a balance between your sympathetic and your parasympathetic system. And from the little that I heard, the book was about BOA and from a Python perspective. It's like a fantastic capture of how those two animals. So it's called Breath. I'm probably going to get it myself and then cry that I didn't write it myself. Okay. So, so put that out there, and now, so there's a lot of extensive practices in breath work, and the thing about Qinglong is we try to connect, yes, consciousness to breath, but also consciousness and breath to the earth, to the environment, to our situational awareness, as well as to the ecology and nature. And part of that is, for the BOA, how you visualize the earth breathing the BOA and the earth sending a wave of breath through the BOA, which is what makes the BOA move. So the BOA is so passive that it doesn't move out of its own volition. It moves because it's being moved by what's going on around it. and its primary, most important connection is to the earth. So just take a little moment here. What we're going to do is we're going to visualize as if the earth is sending a breath through the body in the shape of a wave, and you're going to describe that shape in your own movement. And you're going to settle down and come up. And there's like a little slight undulation. Now, there's different, for beginners, when you're first starting off, it's nice to have a very big description of that wave, very serpentine. And then with practice, when you see people who are very advanced, whether this style or Tai Chi or other styles, their wave is there, it's just very small. And so with practice, after you've done it for a while, as the wave becomes smaller, you just get better at harnessing the power of that wave, and it doesn't have to be as big to be powerful. But let's start off making it big, because it's fun. So you're dropping down on the exhale. Then as you inhale, you feel the breath fill up in the feet, which sets you back a little bit. As the breath climbs to your knees, it straightens them a little bit, and that kind of brings you forward. As it comes up to the hips, it elongates and opens you up, and it brings you full forward. And then as it comes into the belly, it sort of allows you to settle back. Okay? And then as it rises up to your torso, it raises you up and forward a little bit. And then when it gets to your collarbones, it's raising you up higher. And then when it leaves your head, it allows you to relax and drop back down. So there's this cyclical breathing that's happening. So dropping down, and then and what I try to visualize as I'm doing this is when I once gone to take a scuba diving license, they were at a university, they had this class on the dynamics of waves. And they had this image of like a seagull or a little rubber ducky on the ocean surface. And that when you think of a rubber ducky on the surface of the water, you think it's just bobbing up and down. But actually the motion of the wave causes the rubber ducky on the surface to draw a circle. It drops down, it gets pushed forward a little bit back, and then when it's on the backside of the wave, it comes down, but also hits the trough of the wave and goes back a little bit. So when a wave is passing through you, or when a wave is passing by, it causes an object to move in a circular fashion. So I imagine all of my joints drawing a circle. So I feel in my heels, my ankles, a small circle. So let's focus on that for a second. So inhale into your heels and just draw a circle. Keep everything else static and just feel a circle in your ankle sockets. In and drop. In and drop. In and drop. And I'm getting a little bit of knee action, that's fine. Don't be anal about it, but focus mostly on the ankle. Okay, good. And now with the knee, ankle and knee. Okay? And up and drop. And up and drop. And you're breathing in. You're being breathed in by the earth. Good. Now with the pelvis. So you kind of want to feel like your hip sockets, the head of the femur into the hip socket slides a little bit, right? You're going to let your pelvis draw a circle. So if I disconnected my femur bones away from my pelvis, I would see my pelvis doing a small little circular action, just kind of floating within the hip socket. So if this is the femur head and this is my hip socket, And if I had X-ray vision, I wouldn't just see, you know, like a leverage, a change in fulcrum position. I would see a translation, or yeah, I think it's called translation, whatever. I would see it sliding around on the inside of the hip socket. Okay? So I want to see that action. I'm going to feel for that action as the breath passes through my body. So heels, knees, and hip sockets. Again, it's like a Roman arch, and I've got my keystone here at the top, and I just push the arches away, and the keystone, my pelvis, gets to drop down. It doesn't fall all the way down. That would be Panther. But it drops down, I pull it back, I bring it up, forward, I draw a little circle. Okay? I'll draw the circle with your pelvis, your knees, your heels, your ankle sockets. Inhale, drop, exhale. Inhale and rise on the back part of the circle. And as you exhale, you come down on the front part of the circle. Rise, come up on the back part of the circle, drop, go down the front side of the circle on all of those joints. Good. Excellent. Okay. We're going to do the lumbar and the rib cage. Not so much, it's not a big, what we're going to do is, you're not going to draw like a big wave with your lower back because you actually lose power that way. But what you feel is you expand and you fill up the melon at the back, and then you relax and you let the lumbar vertebra just like telescope down. Not compact, you don't have to push down like a crunch. You don't want to like squash your discs. But it's a modest little action, especially on the way up. You feel like you're telescoping out, okay? And then on the way down, you relax the telescope. You let it settle in on itself. And when you're going back with your heels, your knees, and your hips, your lower back is just coming along for the ride, but it's extending up. And then as you draw the circle with your heels and your knees and your hips and you come forward, again, your lower spine is coming along for the ride, but now it's telescoping down. And then together, it makes it look like your spine is drawing a circle. Lifting up, dropping down. Lifting up, dropping down. Okay, good. Up, dropping down. So I'm feeling the lower melon. I'm feeling the middle melon. And now I'm going to focus on the rib cage and the upper melon. Same thing. So on the way up, you extend the lower, you lift up in the lumbar. And the upper torso, it's hard to describe this. It's lifting up, yes, but it's also, I'm spreading. It's subtle. It's not like a big thing, but I fill that upper melon in so that it's bulging out more. Okay? So, and then I come forward, and now I'm going to start dropping down. And what I feel is like my rib cage drops down. And yes, and so is the lumbar vertebra are also telescoping down. But the rib cage slides down. There's a feeling, I like the image of a mudslide, so shout out to Kelly Lake, thank you so much for that. But it's the feeling of like a mudslide on the upper rib cage, just dropping down and settling onto the lumbars, the lower lumbars, and the belly. So the lower lumbars are like a telescope, and the upper rib cage is more like a balloon, and then that deflates as it drops. Okay? So you're coming down. So heels, knees, hips, the lumbar area, the bottom two melons, and then the upper melon. Lift and drop, and lift and drop, and lift and drop. Now you're going to need to relax your shoulders, because for most people, because we just naturally carry tension, when they raise in the rib cage, they also tend to raise in the shoulders. And then when they drop in the rib cage, they also tend to drop and push down in the shoulders. Now, you connect your shoulder blades to your spine, but not to your rib cage. So the shoulders are at the same angle to the neck and your ear the whole time. But there's also a little bit of give in them as well. So when I'm coming up, I can feel my shoulders want to do this. So I have to think this. And then when I come down, I can feel my shoulders like, I don't know, doing some funky forward and downward stuff. And I have to relax them so they can just stay in place. So it doesn't look like they're moving, but I'm actually doing negative movement. I'm kind of thinking in the direction opposite to where they want to go. Okay? So up and drop, drop. So nice circle in the heels, in the knees, in the hips, lumbar, chest, thoracic, relaxing the shoulders. And then finally the neck and the head, like a giraffe stretching and then coming down. And I'm not compacting, but I feel like somebody's grabbed my widow's hump, if you will, and is pulling it back. So basically, right about here, I am a taut bow from an arrow, and the top is being pulled up in one direction, and my feet being pulled down in the other, and it's creating a deep contraction, a deep, long letter C. If I were to look at my whole back, it would be like one long, deep letter C. So on the way up, and then on the way down, the C gets a little bit more squat. And then up, and then drop. Good. Okay. So you have all of those little mini circles going on. And as boa, when you breathe, that's the action. That's how you let the wave of breath from the earth pass through you. Good. Let's connect a little bit of motion to it. Why not? And let's take a step back. So you're doing this circular action. You're doing this wave action. And on the way up, your arms come up to the sides. And on the way down, your hands come down the midline of your body. Let's do a butterfly block, so your hands cross as you come down. So this is, you'd be blocking something, so the leg is coming in this way and you're blocking it away. Boom. So, and you're connecting that block to the motion of those small little circles as you're breathing. Good. Good. So that's the boa quality. Let me just check in here with the feed here. Bella's back. All better? Great. Glad to hear it. Hello, David. Good stuff. Okay. All right. So that's a little bit of boa. And we should do tiger. We've done the effleurage, boa. Right, tiger. Okay. So you should have a sense of a cyclical a cycle of waves passing through you as you breathe, and that's the boa aspect. Now let's put tiger. Let's go to tiger. So we'll do 3 bows for tiger, and then we'll get into the earth dragon bow. All right. So feel your body come to neutral. Start to invoke your tiger. Feel your musculature. And feel the tectonic plates of the earth. Feel the warrior's body, the warrior's mind, the warrior's heart, the warrior's mind. And it's okay to be fierce. All right? And allow that expression of fierceness. And more. And triangles. Good. And stand. Right. Okay. So that's saying hello to tiger. Let's get into the earth dragon bow, and we'll do some more like tiger exercises tomorrow. Okay, so let's get into it. So earth dragon represents is the dragon that lives between the sort of just the underneath of the mantle of the earth and goes all the way up to the end of the atmosphere, and it lives in that length and the kind of texture. It is the incredible big parabolic feeling dish of the boa that takes in everything, and then at the middle of that, coming out like a laser, is the tiger's intention, and it's kind of like intention, but with the sail of empathy, and it's just like a great big sailboat. It has that kind of quality. And in terms of motion and texture, it's like boom, 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 fire into suspended lyricism and inflated stopping. Kind of like you're like you've jumped out of a plane and you're spinning and flying through the air, and then your parachute opens and you're that moment of suspension. So it has that alternation. That's the kind of quality that the earth dragon has. So let's get into it. So it starts off with the boa, and you drop down. Bring all of your little circles, bring all of your practice, the cocoon and so on. You're being breathed by the earth. And then you come here, you stop the world, but instead of bringing it in and letting it out, you stop the world and you bring in tiger. And belly. And heart. And stand. Wings of the dragon. And then that's one full cycle. Did I forget we did the triangles, right? And then come down, and then you start again. And breathe in, open, hug the world, and tiger, 2, and exhale. triangle at the belly. And flip the triangle, it flowers at the heart. And standing, one more Earth Dragon bow. And inhale, fill up. You're in boa. Hug the world and bring in the tiger. And triangle. And then stand, feel your body, and you have the tiger mudra in one hand and the boa mudra in the other. So the boa is on the left side and the camera is flipped. So you're going to think it's on my right hand, but it's on the left. So it's thumb to the second joint of the index finger, and that's boa, and you make this lovely cupped little hand. And then tiger, you bring your ring finger down to the lifeline. There we are. Finger down to the lifeline, and then you just touch the tip of the index finger to your tip of the thumb, and then you keep these at a 90-degree angle. And so you have boa in one hand, tiger in the other, and you stand. And the boa is like holding a baby, and the tiger is standing at attention. And then you release. So that's the Earth Dragon, the Earth Dragon bow. And so we'll pause it there for today, and we'll add on some more material tomorrow. And let's do a couple of boa bows to tie it up, and we'll call it a day. And so boa, again, check in. Feel how your boa feels differently now that you've done the Earth Dragon and the tiger bow. For myself, I can tap into boa, but now I feel a little bit, I feel more energy, a bit heavier, and yet still able to float more at will. It's like an interesting contrast. All right, and drop down. One more. Bring it in and let it out. And settle down on yourself, relax, breathe. Boa mudra in both hands. Excellent. And bow out. So it's right fist, and again, it's reversed on the camera. Right fist, open left palm. You bring them together, bring them up to the forehead, the throat, to the heart, out the heart. So thank you very much, everybody. So we'll be here again tomorrow, and we'll be at 4:30. Tomorrow is Thursday, and regular time, same channel. And I hope this has been instructional and interesting for you. And again, if you have any questions, just pop them down in the comments, the posts below, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. And have a great day. Stay safe, stay well, stay healthy, and we'll talk more about the Sub-Earth Dragon tomorrow. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye for now.